Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another ARD developer live stream. We did one of these yesterday, and today we have a special guest with us. Uh, would our special guest like to introduce themselves?
Marlus, you go first.
Oh.
I mean, you're a special guest, so you can go first.
I'm Shane. I'm the producer of the team. So basically what I do is try to manage the team, and besides that I try to do some lighting work as well, which is still heavily in progress, so forgive me for that. But yeah, I'll be here today to tell you a bit about the future plans of our game. Things that might have gone astray in the past, but actually worked out fine. And also just to answer some questions that you might have regarding the game.
Cool, awesome. But I guess to round up all the introductions, hello everyone, I'm Robin. I do level design and QA for ARD, and yesterday I was also here with Marlus, who will now introduce herself.
All right, well, I'm Marlus. I'm also a level designer on the team. Like Robin said, I was here yesterday too for a live stream. I help out with community management from time to time, and I also help out with production a little bit.
Awesome. So we're a couple of third-year students from Breda University of Applied Sciences, also known as IGAD for the course, the study that we're doing. And for the project this year, we're making a movement shooter. So think of something like Titanfall, kind of mixed with some Doom-esque combat. And it's called Alien Removal Division. And we're going to just take you through what we have playable currently in the demo, run you through some of our design processes, answer any questions that might pop up in between. And other than that, we're just going to try and make it a fun one. So let me know if everything keeps running smoothly. Oh yeah. So first off, I'd like to start explaining a little bit about the character and what kind of movement abilities you have at your disposal. So being a movement shooter, we have mechanics such as wall running, double jumping, but we're also kind of putting a twist on it where we've added a slide mechanic. So if you're trying to squeeze under specific geometry, you can press the shift key to try and reduce your height and slide under whatever's blocking you. And on the same side of the coin, when you're in midair and you try and press shift, you'll form an air dash of sorts. And as you can see here, there's also a grapple move bound to Q, and this can be done in specific parts of the level. And of course, we also have a weapon, which we'll get to at some point during the demo. But other than that, I'm gonna hit enter and just show everything that's currently playable so far. So here we are. Before we get started, Marlus and Shane, if there's any questions that pop up during chat, please feel free to just pop them in right away. Sure thing. Alright, so this is the first level of what's currently playable in the game. This is just a small onboarding section where the player can try and get a feel for the movement abilities and just kind of get comfortable with the way that the character controls. So to this extent, we've designed some very small challenges where the player is kind of taught how to just move around using WASD here, and giving them some obstacles to jump over pressing space. So teaching you kind of the height and the distance of the jump, then adding a little bit more onto that, like so. And onto here, this one's a little bit higher, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and do a double jump to make it all the way up. And then this is where the dash mechanic already comes in that I was talking about earlier, where if I get a little bit of a head start and press shift at the right timing, you can see that I'm able to squeeze under that just fine. I'm going to show it right here again. And then this is where the wall running would get introduced. So as soon as you jump into a wall and you keep holding a movement key, you'll just cling onto it, and then I can press space again to kind of jump off it at a certain angle. And I can also chain this with double jumps, and I can slide into it and then double jump into a dash. So there's a lot of room for unique interpretation, I like to call it, with the moveset to that extent. What you can also see on the HUD here is that on the far right side, oh sorry, that was the grapple by the way. So you see this red point, I'll hold Q and then I'll grapple and fling myself towards it. On the right side of the HUD, there's this green fuel canister that you can see, which I'm going to try to make it deplete. You see there, whenever I use a supernatural movement ability, that makes it so that it expends some of that resource. And this was done both to kind of get the player thinking a little bit more sparingly about how they would plan their movement, but also make way for interesting combinations between trying to manage that resource while at the same time making the usage of the double jump and the dash feel powerful and make the player think about when they do want to use it, as to not fall down while they want to try and use it to cross gaps, for example. So here is another grapple hook, and that's going to bring me to a time trial-esque section. Also, a quick disclaimer before we continue on all of this is everything you're seeing here still is in a very alpha build. So everything will and hopefully will be getting a lot better. We're still submitting changes daily. We're trying to make the best of this as possible. And yeah, everything is very heavily subject to change. So don't take any of this as a face value. Is there anything from chat so far that we should address?
Just the fact that I think that mine and Marluce's audio was a bit soft during the intro, so we might wanna fix that.
Okay, I am going to fix that right now. Could you keep talking about something while I alt tab really quickly? Any of you? Okay.
So we started off with this game right during the concept phase, where we were really looking at a few core ideas that we wanted for this game, right? And one of them was the extensive movement, which Robin just explained a little bit about with the fuel system, right? So we wanted to have mobility that would make the player feel a lot more empowered, right? Like really fast-paced movement and such. And I think the dash is an example of that, but you see that in a lot of games, so we kind of wanted to go a little bit extra on that, adding the grapple to it, the wall running, right? And trying to combine that into something that would make you feel that you're able to just fly through these levels, make decisions really quickly on the go. And once we add combat into the mix to that, that should form for something that would be quite fun. So, of course, we're still quite heavily in development, so adding a lot of the combat sections is still in progress. But as you can see, we have pretty much got the movement nailed down by now, aside from some polishing and improving on it here and there. But you can already experience all of this in the demo right now. So
Exactly.
if you want to check out the movement, you should definitely get the demo.
Let me know if the audio is a bit better right now. I can still turn up the system audio if necessary. I'm not sure if any of you are able to give me some live feedback on that right now.
Somebody also just said that our face cams are in front of the fuel canister.
That is a very good call. So sorry about that. Let me see if I can move this in a fashionable way. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. My apologies for that. Yeah, now you should be able to see the fuel canister on the right side. So whenever I try to use movement abilities, you'll see that it gets depleted, and then whenever I hit the ground again, it'll slowly regenerate. Is there anything else from chat? Is the audio a little bit better as well now?
Audio's good.
Audio's better.
So we're good to go.
Awesome.
Ready for liftoff.
In that case, I'm gonna continue and showcase the Bone Walled, which this is a sort of time trial-esque section that'll focus on getting the player a bit more comfortable with movements and the shooting part at the same time, because that's one of the design philosophies that we're trying to go for, because it's not just a try and wall run as fast as you can, navigate through the level shooter, but it's also we're trying to get a feeling going where the player is still supposed to be able to aim and shoot at enemies while they're performing all of these crazy movement techniques. So I'm just gonna do a quick run through, and then I think afterwards I'll go through it again in a bit more detail. So here you'll see these cardboard aliens that seems to be a slight bug right now, so forget that for the moment. When you shoot them, they should be, yeah, they're supposed to fall down, but yeah, this is all work in progress again.
maybe you can explain how the scoring works, because it's a time trial, right?
Right.
Also,
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, the way that the bone vault or the time trial works right now is that it takes a mix of how fast you're moving and also how many targets you're hitting. So you'll get a penalty based on how many targets you're doing. I think I might be running into some issues right now with the time trial, but again, it's alpha. But as I was saying, if you're going through this time trial section and you are missing a couple of shots on some of the dummies that are there, then you'll try and you'll get a penalty added to your final score. So even if you're going really fast, it won't make up if you're not trying to shoot all the dummies at the same time, which again, that kind of ties into what we want to teach the player with this. We want to give them the opportunity to try and get as comfortable with the movement as they can, and not just with one type of movement mechanic, but preferably with all of them, while at the same time also explaining to them that, you know, no amount of movement is going to make up for your shooting skills. I'm going to do a bit of a slower run through it now, just to explain some small things. So the bone wall, the time trial, is designed around replayability and catering towards multiple skill levels. So what you might see when you're playing this in the demo is that that works now. There's a lot of different routes that you can take, and to an extent, it also makes it feel somewhat personalized when you're trying to go through these routes more often than just once. Because what would happen during playtesting, for example, is different testers would have different favorite routes that they would go through, just because of, you know, any personal preferences, or either maybe skill differences. Maybe players are a bit more comfortable with the trajectory from certain movement mechanics and whatnot. And then I realized I just completely just zoned out while explaining that and not explained any of these scenes. Yeah, so this scene, kind of just teaching the player that, you know, jumping and wall running is always faster than just moving. If I were to move across the entire broken down bridge. And in this particular scene, I wanted to focus... Oh yeah, completely forgot to mention this. I'm the level designer that worked on this mainly, so yeah, that gives me some credit to talk about the design, the design behind this. What I tried to do with this scene is I tried to have these pillars in the middle facilitate wall running routes, but also at the same time, if the player is not feeling too confident about building a route using those movement mechanics just yet, there's a route on the side here that lets you just walk and jump and get a little bit of a wall run in, just to not throw you into the deep end right away. Is there anything from chat that we should tackle?
No, not really.
Alright, I'm just gonna keep going. So this scene makes use of the grapple mechanic, and at the same time, as you saw me do earlier, there's a little shortcut here where you can slide through to skip doing the jumping across these platforms. Again, trying to reinforce that feeling of rewarding skilled usage of the movement. I'm going to try to do something here. I just barely missed the ledge that I wanted to do there, but yeah, if you were to compare that to a previous route that I did, then you can tell that that's probably a bit faster, or at least it looks a lot cooler, in my opinion. Over here, I'm going to try to... Okay, I'm just going to go back really quickly to try and get through that again. So there is another wall running route here that you can do, and it goes something like this. And then I can try and make it through the top of this gate here, and then fall down into the exit. Yeah, obviously that wasn't a very competitive time, but yeah, the idea is there where one thing that was most important to me while designing this is that I wanted to keep different skill levels in mind, and also allow for replayability and in some way also theory crafting. So with that being done, oh, it looks like the timer was updated. Yeah. Oh, so apparently I missed the target. I don't even remember where. With that being done, let's continue through the rest of the playable demo, which now we are entering the slide dash section. And Marloes, who's with us right now, is the main level designer behind this section. So maybe you'd like to explain a little bit about this and your design process?
Yeah. We divided up the level kind of in the different movement abilities. So this is the slide dash section, and we also have a wall run section and a grapple hook section to kind of make sure that, you know, when you get to fighting the aliens, you really have the movement down. So we started with the slide dash, and it focuses on sliding and dashing. It also introduces, or not introduces, but it shows the sliding slime again, which is still kind of placeholder.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this.
It will be replaced with some other artwork. But yeah, if you slide on it, your movement kind of gets extended, as you can see.
Yeah, it acts as like a slippery sort of surface. So as you can see, like even though I'm not holding a movement key now, it's still sending me through. And that combines nicely with the sliding mechanic, where when you're on the surface and you try to slide, then it removes a lot of friction. But yeah, sorry, continue.
And then if you continue walking, you will see something else that's new, which is the moving platform. So if you shoot the yellow canister, it will open up and you can go through it. And this area was meant to teach the player that there is no fall damage. So you drop down here and you're completely fine. Which is something we decided on because we have this extended moveset. It wouldn't feel nice if you are wall running and doing all kinds of cool movement things if you fall down and you die. So we chose to not have any fall damage. And then the next room is a room where they're building a rocket, or we're building a rocket because it's falling apart.
The aliens don't want rockets.
Sorry, what did you say?
The aliens don't want rockets. Sorry, that's good there.
No, they don't want the rockets. No. But again, yeah, the sliding and the dashing is in here, and it ends with a jump on top of the rocket, and again with a moving platform that functions as a little bit of a challenge for the jumping, and also functions as a barrier blocking off this area to kind of force you to continue to move forward through the levels.
I think I just heard a growl. Can you hear that?
Oh no, I wonder what that is.
What's happening here? No, it's a fearsome alien. So this is one of the aliens that'll make an appearance in our game. Internally, we're referring to this enemy as the tank enemy, which kind of, tells you a little bit about what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a tank enemy. Again, the logic of this right now is still very bare bones, but we are working on this by the day and smoothing things out. I'm gonna try and shoot him. Yeah, okay. So as you can see, I can shoot him, damage numbers pop up, and I think if I hit one of these glowy spots, it should deal extra damage. And then he dropped down like a sack of potatoes. I guess now would be a pretty good point to talk about the shotgun as well. So we've been waving this thing around already for quite a bit, and there's a normal left click where you just shoot and you bump extra shells in. But there's also an alternate fire, which you might have seen already in the bottom right, where it says right click to hold to do this sort of burst or volley. So if I were to hold right click, what you're going to see is it's going to keep racking up shells, and then once I release it, it's going to shoot all those shells in a burst. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold right click right now. As you see, the ammo counter is going down, and once I release it, it shoots everything simultaneously, and it's really satisfying. So what we're currently aiming for is we're going to definitely be expanding on all the combat encounters, because this is currently the only area in the game where the enemy has been implemented. So expect new updates on that very soon. I guess
we are also planning on adding 2 more enemies.
All right.
We're gonna have kind of like a grunt type enemy, which is a lot faster than the enemy you just saw, and it's not very dangerous on its own. It's a grunt enemy, but if it's paired with other enemies or if it's in groups, then it becomes a bit more of a challenge. And another enemy that we're planning on adding is a flying enemy, which will fly to you, and it will explode on impact, so you kind of want to make sure you dodge it. But you can also try to use it to your advantage, of course, because it also damages other enemies, so if you can get it to explode close to, a group of enemies, then it could help you out.
We may have run into a little bit of a crash just there, just now. Some apologies for that. Work in progress and everything. I'm gonna try to make my way back as fast as I can, so we can show you a little bit more of what's currently playable in the demo.
Just for reference, the enemies that Marlus was just talking about, as well as some additional content, aside from like all of these bugs that we have in Red that we're trying to fix, including that crash that you saw there. We're looking to release for early access in about 7 weeks from now, so then you can expect an even higher level of polish for what we have right now and those additional enemies. So right now, as it stands, the combat is quite primitive, but then you should be able to blast some aliens, the smaller ones included, as well as that big guy that you just saw on stream.
Exactly. Thanks for covering, by the way. I guess that would also be a pretty good time to talk about the community Discord that we have set up. Because we will be doing conducting playtests. So if you'd like to help us out with the development and give us some real-time feedback, then make sure to join that. We'll post out messages as we are planning playtests. So if you want to make a chance at joining those and helping us develop, then yeah, join the Discord. I hope one of my coworkers has the Discord invite at the ready in chat. Meanwhile,
can you send it, please?
Let's see.
In the meantime, I'm just going to continue with the playable sections. So, as you can see, once we enter this room, there's quite a stark difference in aesthetic and scenery, which hopefully should serve as a little bit of a baseline about what kind of setting we're going for. So I'm going to try and wall run across these walls, make it to the other end. And then I'm going to try to make it through this cave with, well, preferably not touching the electrified water. And we made it out. Alright.
So as you might have seen, this is the wall run section. So it focuses on wall running. And it also tries to teach you that you can wall run and jump, wall run and double jump, and you can, again, chain all of those movement abilities together to kind of get to where you have to be.
And I'm gonna do just that. While showcasing my gaming prowess.
And here you have, again, a moving platform, and this time it's paired with a grapple hook.
Perfect. You want to talk about this scene as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, again, this is focused on wall running, but it's kind of increasing the difficulty a bit. And here I tried to focus on having different paths you can take. So there is one where you can just kind of jump on top of the rotating walls. But there's also a path where you're just wall running and dashing to get to the other side, which is more difficult, but it's also a lot faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go through this again really quickly. Just to show the different routes that are possible. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm not skilled enough.
Like I said, it's more difficult.
Yeah. I should have believed you.
Yeah, well, something that we really are trying to achieve right now with this game is to make sure that we can provide a ramping up skill challenge throughout the game, right? Well, the base level is already quite established, so you need to have some experience with shooters, but it does ease you into it. We do have kind of a tense difficulty curve that we're trying to aim for, as well as in the combat encounters that we're going to include. We really want to challenge you. So if you're looking for a challenge, then this is probably something that you should check out.
Exactly. So now we're moving into the grapple section, which, as you may guess, involves a lot of grappling. And this section also aims to teach you how to use the grappling in combination with other movement abilities. So as you saw just there, I grappled onto a wall running section and then chained that into a wall jump, which, in the moment it may seem like something very basic to do, but when you're pulling it off, it feels like very natural. But once you think about it, it's a lot of inputs. another couple of moving platforms, which I'm gonna shoot. Try and make my way across here. And then combine a double jump into a grapple. And then you can tell that there's 2 openings on either side. So I'm just gonna go here, go onto the left one. And I made it to safety. So this is the final scene that we'll be showcasing today. And this scene aims to basically incorporate everything that you've done so far, while also adding an extra challenge in the form of moving geometries in the middle, because I'm going to be recurringly using this middle section to try and reestablish myself and move around the room. So I'm going to grapple to this next platform, and there's a moving platform which I'm going to shoot ahead of time, and then try and wall run jump into it. There's another grapple here, and then probably, yeah, I can probably just, like, I was able to wall run around this and kind of skip the extra side wheels if you'd like. Again, calling back to affording the different amount of skill levels. So this is all the playable content right now. You want to do some producery talk, Shane?
You could just run through the game again while
Yeah,
talk
sure.
a little bit about what's to come. Because as you can see, right, we have a few things in now, right? We have the big first enemy that we have in, and pretty much we have the movement nailed down. And in terms of the environments, right, we're really gonna try to distinguish a lot of the environments more, so that they have a little bit of their own narrative in terms of what's been going on there. The rocket room is already an example of that, right? Kind of showing you, okay, well, this was being done there, making the rooms have a bit more meaning. So that's something that you can definitely expect in the future. As well as I will be adding another weapon, an assault rifle, so you won't only have this shotgun that's just able to blast everything at short range. We also, since we're gonna have enemies that are gonna be explosive types, right, that you want to keep at range, we will also be giving you a more pinpoint weapon in forms of an AR, which, as it looks right now, will even have a grenade launcher under it, so you can also cause some carnage with that. That being said, of course, you can expect more enemies. So I would say try to keep an eye on the project, wishlist it, and we will keep you up to date. And if you can even join the community Discord, ask further questions there to any of our developers, programmers, artists, whatever you might find useful to ask.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Is there anything else from chat that we can spend some time answering, perhaps?
Not at the moment. But something that is worth mentioning is maybe the feedback tool that we have in the game currently.
Right, yeah. So there's a little feedback tool here where if any of you out there watching right now do end up playing the demo, you can send us feedback and it'll get pushed to our feedback communication channels. So we'll be able to use whatever feedback you provide us with whenever you submit it. So again, any of you playing the build will help us try and steer development in the right way, and can also make a better experience for everyone.
Yeah, and the feedback can just be, your thoughts on the game, but if you encounter a bug, that you can also submit that with that same feedback form.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that was pretty satisfying. So we plugged the Discord already. I'll show the Twitter handle in a little bit once we're signing off. I guess now's a good time to sign off because we ran into a crash. Alright.
As you can see, our programmers are still quite busy at work on fixing some of the things we have in, but...
Alright. I think that's gonna do it for today's developer livestream. Thanks everyone that tuned in. I've been Robin together with Shane here and Marloes. We've been from the ARD team. You can follow us on Twitter at enchanted_beans. There should be a link to our community Discord in the Steam broadcast chat as well right now. And additionally, our Twitter will have some full behind the scene devlog updates, which you can read through if you're at all interested in what's happening behind the scenes. Anything else from Shane or Marloes?
No,
that's pretty much it from me. Thanks all for watching, and yeah, make sure to keep in touch.
Awesome. All right, have a good one, everyone, then. See ya.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.